G'day and welcome back. So for those of you who may have missed the first video, by all means, please pause now. I'll put a link straight up here. It'll take you to the first one. It'll just help give you a bit more context and more background to part 2. And then by all means, come back and watch part 2. Much appreciated. Now, for those of you who watched the first one, just as a brief recap, there were 4 segments. The first 2 segments are covered off in the first video. First segment was the why did this happen to me, and the second segment is the, well, how did I make it work? So hopefully you enjoyed that bit of storyline. And yes, it's deep and meaningful, but there's, I believe there's lessons to be learned in it for everybody. And hopefully I can give you something out of this that helps. If you like this sort of material, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. It means everything to me, and it helps give my channel more visibility, and hopefully anyone else that needs this sort of information or likes this sort of material can find it. So let's continue with number 3. So number 3 is what I call reality strikes back. Back to reality. What is reality, and what does it look like now that I've gone through having to leave that position, look at eBay, trying to fast track it a bit to be more lucrative and bring more money into the house as part 2, and now part 3. Well, what is reality even? What does it really look like? So you've got an ex-6-figure salary individual that's now looking down the barrel of a 5-figure eBay income that's not set in concrete. Anything can happen. So one thing I want to touch back on is in regards to the levels of stress and the type of stress. So the stress that I was receiving in the workplace was unfathomable. Like, no one should have to bear what I was bearing and go through that. Before I snapped and lost the plot completely, or my health deteriorated, something chronic, I got out of there and leaned heavily on reselling on eBay, which thankfully I'd built up a bit of a store beforehand, which made it easier. The stress that comes from that, though, is still immense, but it's a different type of stress, and for me personally, it's a healthier type of stress. And the stress is obviously yourself having to make ends meet and bring something to the table, whereas before, the stress was more about working for someone else, the demands that they had on you, and to make that work to get your paycheck. So it's a different kind of stress, and it's in my opinion, it's a healthier type of stress. So from that perspective, I'm glad that I got out when I did. So what does reality look like? Well, reality looks like sourcing like a madman, listing, photographing, picking, packing, shipping, all like a madman. Thankfully, I'm a madman. Hence, I'm called Media Madman. So that's what I've done. I've just poured my whole focus and concentration into that, which has been working really well. And along that journey, my health is definitely improving, both mentally and physically, which is awesome. Very happy about that. The other part of my reality now is that I actually have a lot more time physically I can pick up children from daycares, schools, like we've got the little ones in fostering. I can drop them off. I'm basically home a lot more often, so I'm here emotionally and physically. I can support my beautiful wife a lot more. There's more hours in the day, so I actually get a lot more done around the house as well, which is great. Prior to that, I was losing 2.5 hours just commuting on top of my work day, I'm glad to see the back end of that. So I'm glad to be off the road, other than when I'm out there sourcing or going to the local shops and that to post and stuff. And far less fuel being spent, and fuel's a killer here at the moment. So that's some good savings to take into account as well. That's what reality looks like for me right now. But it's also given me time to ponder and think of what does this look like continuously moving forward. Now, I'm of the opinion, and it's different than others, but I'm of the opinion that making it as a 6-figure reseller through eBay in Australia is, and maybe everywhere, to be honest, because you got to take into, yes, the US and the UK may be far bigger than here, but I think it's all relative to percentiles as to, what percentage of resellers actually make it or want to make it as a 6-figure reseller. And I'm of the opinion that it's not where we think it is. It's not as obtainable as we think it is. And I personally don't have that goal to be a 6-figure reseller on eBay. That alone, I think, is not only is it a bit unrealistic for the majority of us, but 2, it's putting all your eggs in one basket. And having never worked for myself and being in this position before, I believe there's a real opportunity to still focus 100% on areas to build them up to a certain level before moving on to another venture, or potentially 2 ventures at once if they combine. So an example would be, I'm pouring in a heck of a lot of focus and time into eBay. I want to build it up to a point where it's got good systems, it's fairly automated, but it's still run just by myself, allows me the time to still do YouTube videos such as this, but also gives me a bit of time, and obviously time for family. I've got that opportunity. I'm not going to lose that, but I've still got a bit of time there and energy to focus on an extra form of income. Now, yes, YouTube's there. YouTube, again, for a lot of people, even if it becomes monetized, it's not really something you can ever bank on. It's just maybe a few extra dollars here and there per month. If it ever got there for me, brilliant. If it doesn't, it's still a way for me to record my story and document it there for others that may benefit from it, which is what I'm doing this for primarily. And I may occasionally get the occasional viewer looking at my eBay store and view a purchase, which is brilliant. That helps too. So there's various ways that I can get help from doing YouTube, but the YouTube side and eBay go hand in hand, because what I'm doing on YouTube is all about eBay. So there might be 2 separate ventures, but they're sort of intertwined. That's what I mean. I don't have a fixed plan yet for what my next venture will be, because I'm still probably at least a year away from getting eBay to a point where I'd be comfortable with it being there before I moved across to something else. But if that's what reality looks like for me at the moment. So that's what reality looks like for me at the moment. Still stressed there, but I'm better off personally. We're struggling as a family, but hopefully it's just for the short term, and I can still work to turn that around and improve things for all of us. And like I said, I'm of the opinion that trying to force this to grow to be 6-figure plus, not very realistic and high risk in my opinion. But that's just me. I'm older, I've got a family, so I've got to play things a little safe. That's my view, and that's where I'm coming from. So now we're going to look at number 4. Number 4 is what's next. So what's next for me personally? Basically, just a little over a month ago, when this all happened, I decided to branch out into YouTube as well. Prior to that, I'd only used YouTube as a viewer myself, getting tips and tricks in regards to the whole e-commerce space, predominantly. So to do with eBay reselling and all that sort of jazz. So that's what I was using YouTube for. And then I just branched out myself, made a couple of videos. Yes, they're rough. Yes, they're messy. My audio in my first couple aren't great because I didn't have a proper mic and I was too far from everything. But I think there's still some good things to grasp onto there. And in time, I can go back and I can redo those videos and even, up the ante a little bit with further examples and experience that I've gained by the time I do come back to doing that. So yeah, and YouTube, like I said earlier, it's a way for me to express my learnings, my situation, on the off chance that it's going to help any of my viewers out. And if it helps you out, then that's exactly what I want, because it's YouTube, it's for you, and that's what this is about. What's next for me? So still heavy focus on eBay and building that up, like I said in segment 3. YouTube, you're going to start seeing a bit more from me. Hopefully that's a good thing for you that are viewing me right now. And it will start becoming more scheduled and structured. At the moment, I'm loosely playing with the fact that sort of like I'd like to have a what sold segment, but not every time that I do a video. So it's just going to be what sold over the weekend, because like every reseller, that's the busiest time. Usually wait till Monday rolls over and then you pick and pack everything in one go. So I've started doing that. I've got 2 videos doing that so far. I'd like to continue doing that until, I get shot down and my viewers say that's crap, don't do that anymore, then I'll probably stop doing that. But for now, I'm giving that a crack. And then 1 or 2 more videos throughout a week. So let's say 2 or 3 videos a week in an ideal world. And I think this sort of video would fall more into like a vlog type setting, where it's about me and my journey and my story. And it's still eBay focused though, so that people get a feel for what, reality looks like, which is segment 4. And there's no sugarcoating from me. It is exactly how it is. But then moving forward, so I'm sort of working to like a 1-year goal from now, which is to get eBay as systematic for me and automated as much as possible, whilst I'm still the one driving that business, to a point where I can afford time for a second venture. So I don't classify YouTube as another venture, because I can't until it actually started making something, if it ever did. So I view YouTube as an extension of eBay, and YouTube attached to eBay will always be my primary focus, but I don't want all my eggs in one basket. So I'll look at an extra venture 1 year from now. 2 years from now, I want to be at a point where that second venture is at least 50% to where I want it to be. And I'm between all ventures together, within a 2-year period, I'm back to looking at as close to a 6-figure all up income as possible, and not have all my eggs in one basket. And then skip through to 5-year plan. My 5-year plan after that will be to possibly have one other venture. I may have someone helping in regards to the eBay side of things, so whether that's photography, listing, that sort of thing. I may branch out to that, which then gives me extra time for a 3rd and or 4th venture, to a point. What those ventures look like, I mean, very high level, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna spoil things by having a definitive on that yet. I just know that I've got a plan in place, and those plans still need to evolve with more detail as we go. But I'll share here by all means when we get to that point, for those that are interested, so that'll be good. That's what's next for me. But I want to get on to what's next for you. This is the driving force behind my whole video, to be honest. One thing that I found through this whole process, and one thing I was so thankful for, was that I'd actually started an eBay side hustle a while back. So what's next for you, the viewer? If you aren't already on eBay, or you don't already have an eBay account, please start. Unless you are fortunate enough to have some other fail-safe or fallback. Examples could be, let's say you've got parents that run a large company, and if you were ever to be out of work, you can go and work for them at a drop of the hat. Or another example is you just have a lot of savings or an inheritance or something to fall back on, or you're already established with side hustles that are strong. And so, if you had to give up your day job tomorrow, you'd be okay. You'd have enough there to keep the lights on and food on the table at least. If not, please heed my recommendation. And this is purely from my experience. And that is, I had eBay as a side hustle. I could turn the volume up on that a little bit to fall back on it and increase things. And it's been my saving grace for now, at least anyway. So I'm an advocate for eBay as a side hustle, 100%. When you hear about people doing eBay or reselling as a whole, for those of you in other countries that have multiple platforms to sell on, as a be-all and end-all form of income, so they're a full-time reseller, it's not always true to that fact, because you think about it. So if you see a video and you hear about these six-figure resellers, and they truly are six figures and they're good, they still aren't a full-time reseller, because you're watching them on YouTube. Chances are they're extremely successful and they are actually getting a lot of income through YouTube, through advertising and other sponsorships. So just keep that in mind. So when you hear them say that they are a full-time reseller, they're not really, because that's not all they're doing. They're actually doing media content such as this, and it's highly successful. They are getting, income from, advertising and other sales and things like that. So, and promotion. So, and outside of eBay. So just keep that in mind. But please go and start your eBay store now. And if you need any help, by all means refer to some of my other videos. I haven't been doing YouTube for a great length of time, so if some of my videos don't cover the bases you need covered, shoot a comment, shoot me an email, catch me with an instant message on Instagram, and I will help you out as much as I can. So, and all comments are much appreciated, okay? Without commentary, I take it all as constructive criticism, because without viewers saying or speaking their mind, and it can be about, the content, my delivery, anything like that, I want to hear about it, because it helps guide the ship, We're all on this journey together, and without you, I'm lost. I might as well be doing this completely blind. So that's where we're at for now. And again, if you've liked it, please shoot me a like and subscribe. It means a lot. Gives me the extra visibility. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. I feel like I'm doing this, for you, because, you've taken the time to actually like and subscribe and comment, actually. So even if it's just to say, hey, great video, I actually like this, or I like the way you delivered this, I like the material. If you like, whatever you like, let me know. And then I know it helps, like I said, helps guide me along the way, and very much appreciated. So my next video is going to be about starting an eBay store from scratch. Those of you who have inspired to go and start an eBay store, by all means jump right in, and I'll see you there. So thanks again for stopping by. Your time is everything to me, and Madman will catch you.